The evidence here in court is that in the memory cards of the Samsung phone attributed to Mr. Ngube, there were over 700 photographs. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Except the photo in Exhibit S in brackets D, how many other specific photos showed Mr. Ngube with a golden tooth?
I came across this one in front of us before court. Then I couldn't continue as I get what I wanted.
Now, you are tripping me. You've got 700 photos. You are asked by Sergeant Mohola, find for us photographs of Mr. Ngube with his mouth open depicting a gold. You come across this one photo and you stop doing the analysis for looking at further photos with a gold tooth. Is that what you are saying?
Yes, and the request was not find the photographs, it was find a photo.
Now, as you are doing your analysis, before you get to the photo that is now Exhibit SD, did you find any photos before that with Mr. Ngube's smiling, mouth open? Did you find any photos that contradicted your conclusions that he had a gold tooth?
Most of the pictures, his mouth was closed. Some were open, but not clearer than this one I've chosen.
You cannot come here with one photo and say conclusively he had a golden tooth, which, by the way, was not visible. I had to enhance it with Microsoft Word, and then you stopped.
So that is the cross-examination of Warrant Officer Mabasa by Advocate Ramsipili there. So as of today, the state has officially closed their case. They have presented all of their evidence, and looking at the evidence of the state, and in this particular effect, if we look closely at this issue whereby the state witness Mabasa presented a photo to the court to say that Advocate Ngube had a gold tooth in his mouth, it's something that makes you like scratch your head, over the investigations that were done by Warrant Officer Mabasa. So one thing that affected Warrant Officer Mabasa as he was going through all those 700 photos, it's something called confirmation bias. So this guy was instructed by Sergeant Mahola to find a photo of Ngube showing that he had a gold tooth. And in scanning through those photos, he was seeking supporting evidence, like actively looking for facts that back up what he was looking for. So after finding that photo, just that one photo, he was excited, and he rushed to go back to Sergeant Mahola to say, I found the photo. This guy definitely had a gold tooth in his mouth. So that is definitely confirmation bias. So in searching for that photo, you could see that Warrant Officer Mabasa was seeking evidence that fit the prosecution's narrative without seeking to confirm or contradict, whether Ngube did have that gold tooth from that vast amount of available data. Because surely, how can you stop the investigation after maybe you skimmed through 53 pictures and you just stop there and you stop looking at the 700 other photos? What if you find a very good photo, with his mouth wide open with no gold tooth, or maybe even with a clearly visible gold tooth? So Mabasa didn't do or didn't conduct, a comprehensive search that could have yielded, to solid investigation. So definitely we can say what Mabasa did was cherry picking. So overall, what makes this specific part to be worrying, is the process in itself, because the instruction that was given to Mabasa was not to conduct a full search, but only to find a photo. It's like you are trying to find just something, that we can say, okay, this guy is guilty, we found him. So it left the door wide open, for selective evidence gathering. And in a case like this one, this Meyiwa trial, it's like it's a recipe for misleading the court, because it hides the possibility of contradictory evidence in the other 699 plus images. So that's the challenge that is there with the investigation and the witness warrant officer Mabasa and the process that he just conducted there. So there is a R1 million question, and that question is, can we really believe that warrant officer Mabasa didn't go through all the photos? That is those 700 plus photos. On the face of it, Mabasa's admission that he stopped after one photo, it could be genuine, because like some investigators, they really do their job to the letter of the request, not the spirit. So especially if the instruction was find a photo rather than search all photos, maybe this was some laziness from Mabasa here. So he had 700 plus photos in front of him. His job was to link Mthobisi Mncube to a gold tooth, and obviously the state would benefit much, if any photo, was found that supported that narrative. And if he did go through all the photos but found others that were unclear or even contradictory, it would be safer for him to pretend he never looked further, because that way, those inconvenient images, they would not enter the record. Imagine presenting something like 10 photos there with other images appearing as if Mthobisi Mncube does not have a gold tooth. So to fit their narrative much better, just present just one photo with one gold tooth and just be like, yeah, there you see it. So that's the reason why they picked one photo, so that it fits the narrative perfectly. But then the justification for finding that one photo now, it's not enough, because you can't say we were just looking for one photo, we found the one photo, then we're not looking at the other 500 plus images. So this sort of like cuts in both ways, their strategy to find one photo to fit their narrative. Okay, fine, check, because you're trying to nail this guy down, but their justification reason now for finding that one photo, it's not enough. So another red flag, that stood up for me is that when he was being further questioned, that is Warrant Officer Mabasa by Ramsipili, he stated, that most of the pictures, his mouth was actually closed and others were not clearer than this one. So from that answer from Mabasa, it suggests, that Mabasa had cleansed, like had seen more pictures than what he is actually admitting. So he did see most of these pictures, but is downplaying them because they aren't helpful. They are not fitting the narrative that they want to bring before the court. So let's see it this way. His response in court that I couldn't continue as I had gotten what I wanted. It's less about stopping early and more about strategically ignoring unhelpful evidence. Exactly, that's how I just see it. It's a strategy, to ignore that unhelpful evidence, because as I stated earlier, how can you lay out 10 straight pictures there with just one image supporting your narrative and the other 9 ones shooting down whatever that you are trying to show to the court. So it's a strategy, but obviously they can't say it that way. They had to find a reason to justify, but then their reason to justify was not solid enough. But you never know, maybe we're rushing too ahead and being too judgmental of Warrant Officer Mabasa. But let me just put it this way, that either Warrant Officer Mabasa was careless and stopped too soon, or he's hiding photos that didn't fit the state story. But however, in both cases, his credibility is kind of questionable. So I'll catch you guys on the next one.